Episode 11 of the Weekly Take podcast. Here with Breland Joseph to talk about sports and just in general, just everything, just from basketball, football. We even got baseball on today's show.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, so we're actually going to jump right into the first segment of the NFL Week 15 scores and what games really like jumped out to us in general. So to start us off, we have the Chargers at the Chiefs winning by 1 point. What did the Chiefs lose this game, or did the Chargers win this game? I know that's a weird scenario to say, but whose game was this to win?
After all these years, Phillip Rivers had to be just winning a game at some point.
He's just one of those guys that you just don't really look at as he's. I said this last week or last couple episodes ago. He's one of those guys that you're like, he's lived in the shadow of Breeze, Brady, and Aaron Rodgers. Nobody thinks Phillip Rivers when they think pocket passers.
And here comes Patrick Mahomes.
Another shadow for this guy to be under.
I really didn't think it was a setback for the Chiefs. I mean, it's just a good test to see where you're at moving forward into the playoffs. You're already without your star running back, so moving forward, you're just trying to see where you fit in. On their side of things, I thought it was a good win for the Chargers. I mean, moving forward.
Yeah, because with that division, Kansas City's essentially locked it up. So Kansas City's going to take that division unless they fall off everything. I don't think that's going to happen. Moving into the Chargers just taking the wild card spot. They have the fifth spot. On the other hand, though, the sixth spot in the AFC is actually up for grabs with Baltimore, the Colts, Miami, and even Cleveland's in the mix too. You know, you look at a team like the Chargers, and they don't really look like a wild card team. If they weren't in this division, they'd very well probably have a home game. You know.
Yeah, I think playing at home probably a good thing for Phillip Rivers, but at the same time, being this old, you gotta just go win one at some point.
He's been everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, he's home. He plays the Chiefs twice a year. He doesn't really. I don't think he really thinks too much about it anymore. So the Chiefs actually lose this one by 1 point at their own home turf. 28-29 if we're going to go in that kind of format. Moving into the Houston-New York Jets game. Houston, I actually did not really see too much of this game, but Houston ended up winning this game in New York, 29-22. What do you think in this game? Did you watch this game?
No, it's better for the Jets to lose anyways.
Yeah, I think the Jets are one of those teams that's just they want to lose right now anyway. I mean, they're already kind of a lower seed team, lower draft set team. So I just think Houston has a really good offense with Deshaun Watson and just alone DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, I'm just not sure if that's a contender or if it's good in the regular season yet. We'll see if Deshaun Watson can put it together in the playoffs.
Do you think Deshaun Watson has fell off from last year, or do you think it's just this team around him just isn't really put together as they were last year?
Could be just more hype surrounding other quarterbacks like Luck come back. Think about Baker Mayfield, you know. The Chargers playing well. Mahomes is just, I think there's a lot overshadowing his situation.
Yeah, because last year he was the guy before he got injured. I remember he went into Seattle last year and put up 4 touchdowns? Was it?
Yeah. And him and Wentz were on the hype train. It was just moving it off. Just the wheels fell off with injury. Just now there's a new train to be on.
Yep, and he's just kind of like, what the hell? Like, I don't get no hype anymore. So maybe that's the thing. I can't lie to anyone who's listening and tell you I really watched this game end to end. Yeah. 29-22, Houston wins this game. Moving into the Cleveland at Denver game, we actually watched this game here at this very house that we're recording this house in. Cleveland ended up beating Denver by 1 point. I just don't have any really faith in the Denver Broncos. I just don't really like Case Keenum as a starting quarterback, and then letting Demaryius Thomas go. What do you think of Denver this year as to last year, or even as to go as far back as their Super Bowl team?
I just think they're going to go as far as John Elway's. Whatever he thinks is in his heart is going to take him where that. Case Keenum wasn't the answer this year, and he's obviously going to move on from quarterback no matter the money situation. But on the bright side, you still got, as long as if you do put it together, Von Miller and the defense is right there. I mean, he made history.
100 sacks on the year.
So he has what? The most sacks in Denver history. That was the history that was made, right?
Yeah, I mean, is it more of a small fish in a big pond, or a big fish in a little pond? Do you think he really had that? I mean, 100 sacks is 100 sacks, but yeah. I mean, was he really like?
I don't know. I'm not sure who the second guy on the list is.
Yeah, I
To be
mean,
honest.
I would really like to see who the second guy on the list is. It's probably some crazy legs Hirsch kind of guy, like in the 50s when people.
Yeah, we'll have to check on that.
Yeah, people were probably their second job was the post office, on the weekends. So that game, Cleveland actually ended up shocking Denver in Denver by 1 point. Baker Mayfield played pretty good. Brashad Perriman played actually pretty good as a good free agent pickup for them. He did make some key penalties towards the end to actually cost them. They could have actually won by a little bit more. But moving into the Green Bay Chicago game, I wish I could say Green Bay tried, but they didn't even look like they tried. This is a divisional game, and Chicago ended up winning by a touchdown, I believe. Yeah, I did the math right. And what do you think of Chicago this year? Is it their division?
Yeah, I think they've looked pretty good this year. It seems like Khalil Mack changed the defense. Roquan Smith was a great pickup in the draft, I think. I mean, seems like they've just been putting it together on defense, is all.
I look at this too in the NFC because you got Seattle, you got Chicago, and then you even got to put Dallas in the probably the better defenses in the NFC. But do you put Chicago as number one in the NFC over those two teams?
I think they played like it. I think coming in the season, the Vikings were supposed to be that, and then that just hasn't come to fruition.
What happened to them?
I mean, it's just that's been a letdown. And on defense, I think the Eagles are going to be more stout than, or they've been less stout than they thought they were going to be.
Yep.
I mean, but I think Khalil Mack's changed their defense, and I think playing in the cold and showing up in Chicago, having that pass rush, and Trubisky's been a good complimentary player. Just don't turn the ball over, make plays. He can run.
Is he one? I mean, like he's kind of like the Goff kind of guy where he looks like he's gonna make plays in the right system. He's in a perfect system this year. He's got Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen behind him, and then you plug someone in him. That's a good pickup for Chicago, and it kind of keeps them new looking. Khalil Mack gave him that kind of fan base, and then I like Chicago this year. I'd rather see Chicago win than LA or the Saints, to be honest with you, just because those two are the top two teams. Is there anything else you got to say about Green Bay, or are you just kind of wordless as I am for what is going on with after Mike McCarthy left? Was he really the answer? I mean, you got to point fingers at someone.
I think they're just kind of waiting for everything to calm down, restart next season. There's too much fire going on right now. It's all pointing at Aaron Rodgers. He's like, let's just settle down. It's not happening this year anyway. Let's just move into next season. We'll restart it. I'm still discount double check.
I'm still discount double check. Everyone needs to relax. That's what people need to relax at. So we've actually talked about this game quite a bit. So let's move on to another NFC North team, Detroit in Buffalo. This is one of those games. I didn't watch this game. I watched the highlights and I look at the stats and scores and all that jazz. But this is just one of those games you turn on TV and I don't want to watch this game, even though it was probably the best game out of pretty close. But Josh Allen's playing at a good level, and Detroit's just Detroit. What do you think about these two teams this year?
Yeah, Stafford's just been caught in the middle of the road for how long now? Just gotta figure something out, or move on, or get a trade, or I don't know. That situation's just been in flux for too long. And then I think Buffalo. I think Allen he's a good choice. Yep. I just think there's a lot of, if you set some building blocks and get it right, I think it could work.
They're Julio Jones away, like a Julio Jones type receiver away from being kind of good. But the AFC East has been New England's for, 12 years?
Yeah.
Has anyone came out of...
Plus Shady's, he can't do it for the same forever. So his window's going to be only so small for them if he's going to be with them when it happens. And then you got to think about the defense. That's what's going to be the backbone of a rebuild there.
They are really young.
However it works, yeah.
They are really young.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you on that one, but yeah, to move into Tampa Bay at Baltimore, me being a Baltimore fan, I thought this was a good win, but 8 points against Tampa Bay. I mean, I was just kind of like, if we're the top defense, we got to shut this kind of team out. Lamar Jackson's playing great, but do you like Tampa, or I know because a lot of people want to talk about Lamar. We'll get to Lamar in a second, but what do you think of the whole quarterback system in Tampa Bay and what's going on there?
I just think Ryan Fitzpatrick is what he is. Everybody knows. If you're not going to put your money up to start him at the beginning of the season. He's obviously not the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But with Jameis, it just depends on what your pick is, where you're at, and if you think there's a quarterback there. If there's not, then I think he's your short-term answer moving forward. Just because you can, if he does put together a season, then you can maybe build off of that.
Mm-hmm.
But until he can stay out of trouble in the off season for one season, then when are you gonna build on him?
You're fucker right, the pussy type kind of player, man. He's just that was for people who don't know. That's his whole college dilemma thing that he did. And I guess he stole some crab legs or something like that. Like, it was his friends. I don't really know the whole issue. But, to move into the Baltimore side of things, I think Lamar's playing great. Like you were saying, actually, Breland was saying, like, some guy, I don't remember what analyst he said.
Tim Hasselbeck.
Tim Hasselbeck said it's like a high school offense. And I see that in the rushing attempts because it's just like, let's just run the ball because, and it's actually kind of working. Gus Edwards is playing very well. Lamar Jackson's rushing the ball, taking that pressure off. But I still think this is a Flacco team. I don't know. That could be biased, but Lamar is actually making me kind of think, hey, it could be time to move on. What do you think of Flacco taking the back seat?
I think he's done it's been admirable that he's taken the back seat after all this, being a Super Bowl winning quarterback. But at this point, after you got paid and you haven't showed up, for a couple of years, and the quarterback got drafted, the coach is seat has been hot as it's ever been. He's got to do what he's got to do to try to save his job, and it's working thus far. So why deviate from that plan until further notice? But I do think Flacco is a starting quarterback in the NFL. I'm just not sure if the situation's right now for him moving forward. I think that when that Denver coach or offensive coordinator, the Kubiak or whatever,
Gary Kubiak, he was filthy.
The offense was just different. The running off that play action, the way I think that's Flacco's system. So sometimes it's just pairing up with the right guy.
Yeah, because, I look at it too. If Flacco were to leave, because there's a lot of veterans on that team that could leave this year, who do you think would actually need a quarterback? Because I look at Denver, I think they'd probably start Flacco over Keenum, maybe. Jacksonville's probably, Blake Bortles is unreasonable this year. There's a lot of teams who need a quarterback. Last year, they paid Kirk Cousins, $64 guaranteed $million just to play for the Vikings, and Kirk Cousins wasn't like a tremendous, he wasn't
the Redskins for sure.
Yeah, he wasn't like a, Aaron Rodgers type player. Yes, he's good, but hey, he got paid a lot.
The Giants,
the Giants,
they need one.
Damn, wouldn't that be crazy? See Joe Flacco in blue. So
just like you said, Tampa Bay, if you could get
Tampa Bay,
you could make the right trade and put Jameis behind Lamar, and
Yep.
Then it could be, if he gets hurt, at least you got another athletic guy to. Or, another guy if you don't think Jameis is the guy. Yeah,
it goes to show, like in the Super Bowl run with the Eagles, if you have a good backup quarterback, you fucking could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So to move on, we talked about Baltimore quite a bit, but to move into the next part, we got Arizona and Atlanta. What?
Arizona's trying to get that first.
They are. They got their third strings in.
Yeah. Sarkisian's not saving his job off a win over Arizona, I don't think.
Yeah, so that game, I don't even really have much to talk about. Atlanta played great. Their defense played great. To move into that, they actually won this game by 26?
Julio needed some of those touchdowns early in the season.
Yep, he's like, I need to get some stats from my career. So let's just do it against the Cardinals. Let's beat up on these guys. Oakland at Cincinnati. Cincinnati, another team that really let me down this year because they were really good in the beginning of the year. They beat Baltimore on Thursday night. Actually had really good. Baltimore playing good football, and then they just fell off. I don't know if it's injuries. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know what it is with Cincinnati.
A.J. Green shows up some weeks. Andy Dalton just doesn't show up in the big ones. The real good defenses shut him down.
Yep.
And then I don't know. I'm not a firm believer. Once it gets there, the defense gets penalties. I don't know. I feel like
that Pittsburgh game.
Yeah, it always comes back to haunt them.
I just don't really like the Bengals. Just because
Oakland, they're trying to get a good pick too. They forego their season.
Let's just get rid of a generational type talent, and then let's just try to draft one when they could have kept him. He's playing great in Chicago, Khalil Mack.
It'd be one thing if you thought you could get two guys off of him, but nothing came in return.
What'd they get? A first rounder?
Yeah, or 2 first rounders, but Do you think the Bears are going to be that bad after he showed up there? I mean, they're going to be in the playoffs, so the pick's not going to be what you once thought it was.
So yeah, Chicago's like, all right, we'll take Khalil Mack, and now we're gonna be good, and now your pick's gonna be bad, so you're gonna look even more dumb. Yeah. And like, who, even if they did have a top 10 pick, is there anyone in the draft that you would know that is as good as him?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, and the level he's playing at isn't fantastic. So moving into, we were actually talking about this before the show. The NFC East had 2 shutouts, and one of them being the team we're about to talk about, and that is the Giants against Tennessee. The Giants are a big letdown this year. I really like the Giants, but they just have not came up to play. I don't know if it's Eli. I don't know if it's the team. What's wrong with the Giants?
I think the weapons are there. I think he just doesn't let the plays develop. Yeah. Like he should. Extending the plays in the NFL's a key cog in moving the ball down the field. When you're passing it, I think it's just when you got to get it out in 2 seconds. If you're not Tom Brady, it's not. You got to have the right scheme to do it. Otherwise, you're playing from behind. And I think Barkley, he can get overworked at times from doing too much dink and dunk.
Yeah.
You got, how many weapons you got?
Saquon.
Yeah.
Odell.
Shepard. The tight end, he's pretty
Ingram.
good. Yeah, he's good. So
that's alone, that should be an offense.
Enough to get the ball spread, and enough where they shouldn't be getting doubled, or
Yeah.
Or if he can get some run action going, you should be able to get some 1-on-1 to get
over the top to Odell,
or some back shoulder fades. I mean, something's got to be able to work.
Maybe it's the line. I wish I could tell you what the problem is, but they got shut out at home against Marcus Mariota and friends, because Marcus Mariota is surrounded by a bunch of fans that probably suited up. I mean, that guy has he's got Derrick Henry. He's a beast, but man, there's some players on that Tennessee Titans team. I don't even know who they are.
Yeah, I think the defense is stout. Mm-hmm. That was, they're carrying them into the playoff race, and I think it's been nice for the defense to do what they've been doing, but yeah, the Giants had to put some better effort into that one. Maybe they want a good pick too.
Yeah, they
three games in a row with 3 teams trying to get a good pick.
They need a quarterback, and they're really looking like they're going to go first round or second, because last year they had the second pick for Barkley, so now they're really looking like they're trying to just do something. Tennessee looks like they're playing for the name on the front of their jersey rather than the back kind of team, that defense, how they're playing.
Yep. We over me.
Yeah, that's what they're doing then, and it's showing that they're winning games. So moving to the next game, Minnesota put up 41 points against the Miami Dolphins. Minnesota's that team where you just, as soon as you start talking bad about them, they do somewhat good. And I don't have any confidence in these Vikings. If they make the playoffs, I'm just going to write them off, whoever they play against, because I don't really like Kirk Cousins, and I really like their offense, but he's kind of like, I don't know if he could switch it. I hope he does, because it would be cool, but I don't really know what I think about Minnesota this year. What do you think about him?
I think Dalvin Cook's been coming back into his own. That's the bright side for it. But yeah, I think overall the season has been a letdown. I think today was a good win, but small stepping stone move.
Very.
They're in the playoff picture right here. As of today, they would be in.
They'd be playing.
So I think that's. As bad as it's gone, all you need to do is win once you get to the playoffs. If you get there, so a couple more games to hold out, make it there. The defense is still there, and then I think the same could be said about Miami, though. They're
in the race.
Last week they had a good win. Then they come lay an egg against Minnesota when you think it could have been a good game. It's just
teams' colors start showing.
You can't trust them either.
I think Minnesota, maybe after all that crap I just talked, I think maybe Minnesota can flip the switch. That's a good offense, as good as anyone's. But. I do think I'm excited to see what Minnesota ends up doing. Moving into the Washington at Jacksonville game, Jacksonville lost to the Redskins by 3. These are 2 teams. Washington had the best defense at the time in the NFL, but now they're just kind of like
Darian's young, all the Alabama guys.
Oh, dude, Roll Tide.
Yeah, Roll Tide. Defense there.
That is they got Reuben Foster. I don't know if Ha was a. Was he?
Yeah.
Who else they got?
The 2 guys on the D-line. The one guy was from last year's draft, and they got another guy too. I'm not 100% sure, but I know there's a couple guys in the line too. So
right next to Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got a lot of Bam guys, and I think the defense is good. They're a quarterback away.
Yeah.
You got to have a competition. I think
AP's playing good.
yeah, and then I think Jacksonville. That's probably in the grand scheme of the game in the NFL. That's probably the biggest disappointment of the season. After that Patriots win, you're thinking they're over the hump. Here we come. Bortles is playing great, and then now the wheels fell off, and here he is in a worse position than when the season started.
Yeah, because I look at it because they went into Pittsburgh last year and lost by 3, I think, in the playoffs, and now it's just I don't get it. Like you said, they're a player away. Maybe it's the scheme. I don't know what to blame with these Jaguars, but I do know what is to blame for this next game, and it's the defense for not really stopping anything for the Colts. Moving to the next game, we actually have Dallas at Indy. Indy put up 23 points against Dallas after Dallas has actually been off to a hot start after beating New Orleans. That was a big win for them, but now they can't even beat the Colts. The Colts are in the AFC playoff picture, though. So I don't know what to think about the Colts because as a Raven fan, I don't want them to be good, but they're a pretty good fun team to watch. Marlon Mack's playing well, and Andrew Luck's playing very well, too.
T.Y. Hilton's great as ever.
What?
He opens it up for a lot of things, and I think Luck, he's back.
He's back.
That's comeback player of the year for sure. I think I don't see anybody else really taking that from him.
I don't know anyone who's...
Yeah.
He's really the front runner. He's going to win it.
Plus, he gets the most... all the hype. I guess Carson Wentz, but he's not. He has now played Andrew Luck. I mean, he's coming back from hurt. So is Deshaun Watson. But as long as Andrew Luck's been out, I think that hype train's going to ride that to that award for sure.
They started 1-5. I remember we were watching the game the other night. And they pointed out that statistic, and that was, wow. They've won. I don't think they've lost these, their games. But moving into this one, I know it still stings a little bit. But what happened with the Hawks in San Francisco? San Francisco ended up winning 26-23. What happened other than the big elephant in the room that the ref calls? What was it, the offense, or was it more of like they knew they should win this game? Did they play down to San Francisco's level? Is that what you think happened?
I thought the D line for San Francisco played a great game. I thought the two big guys from the Pac-12 pickups,
Solomon,
Solomon Thomas and Buckner, and the other Oregon guy, they played pretty good and got the pass rush through. Seattle's, here comes those line issues once again.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought it was nice to see Doug Baldwin get some touchdowns, get that shot to McKissick there late in the game. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a good play. That was vintage Russ throws, where we get a deep ball and we're moving, But I thought overall, I thought we could have played better. I mean, we lost that game, I thought. But at the same time, I really did think that was the refs were trying to keep that game as close as they could on San Francisco's end. I mean,
they were.
Every single time third down, it seemed like we were getting a call. It didn't matter what it was on defense. But I mean, hey, we still got to win the game, I guess, on Seattle then.
Seattle, yeah. We were talking about this earlier too. Seattle has that. If they would have won this game, it would have been more of a solidifying. Okay, the 5th seed is Seattle's. Now they got to win out, and they have Kansas City this Sunday, actually, in Seattle. Yeah. But that's going to be...
But that's not to the extent after when you're going into San Francisco, you put all your marbles in this one and get this out of the way, then you're thinking about, resting because you're not going to go to get a home game. So you might as well rest your guys. But here now, look at us.
Because
we're on a bubble.
Yeah, because wherever Seattle goes in the playoffs, they're going to have to go there.
Yeah.
Because it's either Chicago or Dallas, because they're going to have to play in the first round.
And if you win, you're more than likely playing a 1 or 2, not a 6. So
you're
more than likely going on the road again.
To New Orleans or L.A. And I would hope it would be L.A. because, Seattle knows L.A. pretty well. And I think would you think they match up against L.A. better than New Orleans? Or would you rather see Breeze as a Seahawks fan?
I might rather see Breeze just because I think I'd rather say our defense could hold him, and I think we could score on their offense or on their defense better than
LA's.
The Rams. Yeah.
Yeah, because LA their D line, their outside D line is crazy. They got Brockers, Donald. Who am I forgetting?
They got Fowler and Sue.
Yeah, and Sue. Yeah, that's a good D line. And then nobody wants to see Russell running around as much as we do, but not from we want to see him making plays. Seattle's on a very good track to make to the playoffs this year. Moving into another close AFC. Actually, this always kind of happens in the playoffs kind of game. New England ended up losing in Pittsburgh 17-10. Pittsburgh does this kind of thing where they make everyone think they're bad, and then they beat a good team. Maybe Brady showed some age, but what happened? Did you watch this game?
I didn't watch. I didn't really watch it, but I seen the highlights and seen some things. But I think, I guess everybody's been talking about it today. It's been talking news. Is Brady getting too old? I think he's obviously going to. But this is one of the more vulnerable Patriots teams that he's had to lead through, a regular season. So, it could just been a rough night, and the scheme that they were picked that night to beat them might not, been the right one. Or it could have been Belichick holding back because he knows they're going to play him in the playoffs.
True. Maybe not showing him all the colors, everything about him. Yeah. Pittsburgh needed this win way more than New England did.
Yeah.
New England is they know they're going to win the division. They know they're at least going to be a top 4 seed.
I think Belichick was kind of hitting. He wanted to get Schuster when he was a free agent, though.
He did. He's like, you're really good.
He did. Gronk's getting a little old. I need a horse.
Yeah,
come on over this way. I'll win you a title, kind of thing.
And he's like, man, you could be all the show you want over here. Just bring your. He's a pretty good receiver. I know he's a Steeler. I don't really like the Steelers, but I can admit he's pretty good. He was even making AB kind of jealous in the beginning of the year. Remember, he said, I should be getting more touches than him.
Exactly.
What a brat. Yeah. Get over it. Moving into Philly beating the Rams 30-23 in Los Angeles. This could be another thing. Maybe the Rams,
was it more of Rams being just we're already making the playoffs, or was it
actually a Philly win?
Or was it Philly being that desperate because they want to be in the playoff hunt? Because you lose last night, you're done.
Yep.
And then so you get, but then there's another case of I think there's something to be said about these flags that are flying in the air to try to keep this playoff race tight. I think that it might have been a little too obvious this week. Or maybe I'm biased because I'm a Seahawks fan. I'm not sure.
Even as a Raven fan, I believe it too. I was just like, what the? There's some flags you watch and you're just, what the? What?
Too many third down trying to decide the game type thing. It's all right, like first, second down, those are drive killers too. But at the same time, like third down when there's
third and 8.
Yeah, like on a pass where the guy's got to make a play, he's got to catch the ball. It's one thing if it's real blatant, but come on, let the people play the game.
It's that same old saying that we all say, let them play. I wish in NFL Week 15 that is actually probably one of the biggest things we saw. And to wrap this actually all up, we have not all, but just this first part of the segment. New Orleans at Carolina. It was a low-scoring game, 12-9. I was actually thinking this was going to be a shootout. I just don't. Cam Newton played horrible, and
I thought Kuechly had a great game. This one,
he did.
I did watch most of this game compared to the other ones where I was kind of just
changing.
Just tuning in. I watched this one most of the way through, and I thought Breeze did breezy, and then I thought Luke Kuechly, it was a good battle. He kept it close, and Thomas Davis made some plays. I thought they
did. Kuechly get a pick this game?
No, I don't think so. But
he was just all over the place.
That where they got that touchback in the back of the end zone to keep the game going. That was nice.
I just don't know what was going on with Cam Newton. He was playing hearts out, but to actually end up to move on to the next part of the show, we're actually going to talk about NFL Week 16 picks. What do you think? Do you need a break, or you ready to go right in there?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Awesome. So actually, let's go into first. So there's actually 2 Saturday games. There's no Thursday night game this week. So who do you got against Washington at Tennessee, and why?
I think I'm gonna go Tennessee, just leaning on the defense. I Washington without a quarterback still. I think that Johnson guy, that was a good win for him moving forward. Just to get a backup role, but moving forward towards the playoffs here. Everyone's gearing up. I think that's Tennessee's game.
I think Tennessee's going to want this more, and I think that's why I'm going to put my mark next to this team. I think Tennessee will win this. Derrick Henry, I think, could have a good game, but again, Alabama's defense is going to. I say Alabama.
Washington needs They need a better pick anyway, so that your season's done. It's okay.
They're not taking that division. I mean, maybe if the stars align, but I don't think Redskins are as close as Tennessee is.
I think they got the least amount of playoff odds left, but they're still in contention.
Yeah, they're there, but they're not. You know, they need everyone to lose twice. Baltimore at LAC, the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm going to go Baltimore this week because I think they need it more. Baltimore has been in this situation the past 2 years where they control their own destiny, but they usually choke, and I think this is the year where they say, fuck, let's actually win this time, you know? So I'm going to go with them. And let me tell you why that's a bad pick before you start. The Chargers are playing fantastic, and they're home. You know, that's big enough.
I'm banking on the...
Yeah, who do you got?
I got the D-line and that defense of the Chargers. I think that's going to slow down everything that Baltimore's had with this train that's running into the playoffs. But I do think Baltimore's got running in the right direction. I think this isn't the team to run into while you're running in the right direction.
This was the worst team. They really needed that win against Kansas City because then we could have dropped this one.
Yeah. But at least you had some more wiggle room. But
you got to win out now.
Yep.
And Pittsburgh, I think, has New Orleans, and I mean we need them to lose. But again, moving into the next part, we got Cincinnati at Cleveland, in divisional game. I'm gonna have to go just Cleveland, honestly. They've been playing at a very good level this week, and they're coming off a pretty big win against Denver. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm picking Cleveland just because I've purely been rooting for Cleveland all season, just to kind of come out of. I think Baker Mayfield's the right choice. I think I've just seen Jabril Peppers play good this last week. I thought that was a good sign moving forward. That wasn't a bust pick. You know, They had a lot of picks that draft. I think Myles Garrett, I haven't seen as much as I'd like to. You know, I'm highlight reel, things like that. Just being a difference maker like Khalil Mack say. But
he jumps off the screen.
But I'd say I like where they're moving in the right direction. I think Cincinnati's in flux. Just, you know, either rebuild or, you know, tear down or, you know, add some more pieces and spend some money. What's the move, you know?
Yeah, they definitely spent money on Landry this year. And, you know, I like their offense too. Nick Chubb's he's a stud.
Yeah, he's a stud.
And then you look at Denzel Ward, he's balling out Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he made a lot of good picks. Hindsight. Man.
Yeah, you know, was this Hugh? Was this all Hugh? Is some coach going to get all Hugh's hard work? Maybe, who knows? But you know, there's a lot
trust the process.
Yeah, they're trusting the Cleveland process for real. Moving into Tampa Bay at Dallas, I can't pick Tampa Bay because I know Dallas is just hurting after that loss, and they're home. So I'm gonna go Dallas against Tampa Bay. Who do you got?
My heart wants me to pick Tampa Bay just because I root for Tampa Bay purely more than Dallas. I'm not a Dallas fan, but I think Dallas got it.
Yeah. I don't think there's really much to be said about that one. Dallas needs this one way more than Tampa Bay does.
Ezekiel Elliott normally has good bounce backs after losses or bad games.
Yeah.
I think he had to be more featured, just like every other game you say he needed to be more featured. There's no way you could go score 0 points and have Ezekiel Elliott on your team. I think that's too good of a rushing attack.
He's one of those guys that you can't not give the ball to him.
Yeah.
He needs 25 plus touches a game.
Definitely. And
easy.
Then you got to see where he's at then.
Yep.
Because that's got to happen with about a couple minutes left to go.
Yeah. You need to just pound it with him. And that line's not. I mean, I know they're banged up, but they're still better than half the NFL.
Yeah, two of their guys are worth more than a couple of Seahawks guys.
I know.
I mean,
Tyron Smith got paid 5 years for $100 million.
Yeah,
I can see why. Moving into Minnesota at Detroit, this is a divisional game. Well, yeah, they're in the same division. Minnesota at Detroit. Who do you got?
If you said it was fourth quarter, 2 minutes, Matt Stafford's ball tie game, I'd give it to Detroit.
Yep.
But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and take Minnesota. I just don't think Detroit's got it in them, but you never count out Stafford when it's close.
I can't pick Matt Stafford. I have a problem picking Detroit. I just I'll pick them when they lose, and then I'll pick against them when they win. It's just exhausting, and that's why I think this week I'm going to go against them as a Minnesota fan. I'm not a Minnesota fan, but as a fan for this week, I'm going to be cheering for Minnesota. I just think Kirk Cousins is going to get something going against this defense. They don't really have a secondary there, so I got to go Minnesota.
Yeah.
Going to the next part, Buffalo at New England. This is one of those ones I don't think there really needs to be much say because I'm going to go New England. Who do you got too?
Yeah, I just think this is one of those divisional games where New England is gearing up for the playoffs. Here we come. We get all our ducks in a row. Don't show any other plays. We're gonna be getting out in the playoffs when we need it, but we're gonna go get this dub.
They're just strictly just a better team.
Yeah.
Just fundamentally. So yeah, I think Belichick's gonna say just we're more athletic than them. Let's just run the ball on them.
Yeah.
I know they're like an air raid type team. Moving into the Green Bay Jets game, this is one of those games because I feel like Green Bay, they know they're not making playoffs right now, so they might just kind of sit. Hey, let Rodgers kind of chill. Devontae Adams chill. I know people are paying money to see these games, but I would rather not have Aaron Rodgers tear an ACL than a win against the Jets.
It's the Sam Darnold show.
Yeah. Who do you got? I'm gonna go Green Bay.
I'm gonna go Green Bay, but I think it'll be closer than it probably should be.
Do you think Green Bay? It's gonna have to be like a game-winning drive, maybe.
Not possibly. That close. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. What's Green Bay's defense doing? I just not. Is it good? Is it mediocre? Is it old? Is it young? I'm just not.
It's just mediocre.
All you see is Clay Matthews run around every once in a while, and
how Quentin Dix is going.
Yeah, so I think it's that ship sailed on the defense. So any game could end up how it is. Just however Aaron Rodgers dictates the game.
Yeah. So Houston at Philly is the next game on the list, and who do you got? Houston, you got Philly. They're both playing actually pretty good football right now. I'm going to go Houston just because purely Deshaun Watson, I think, is going to make some plays. Even though he's been kind of having a slow year, I think that would be a good pick for me to pick Houston, even though they're away. What do you think?
I think there's a lot to be said about how Philly's playing with Nick Foles. I think he throws the ball to Jeffrey instead of to Ertz.
Yep.
And then that changes the offense a little bit. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Philly and think it's going to keep that NFC race tight.
It's going to be a good game. I totally forgot that.
That definitely looks like so far game of the week that I've seen down the list.
I totally think that's a good point. I almost kind of regret picking Houston now, but because he actually throws it to other people other than Zach Ertz. I don't know if that's a skill thing. Maybe they're bros or something. But Atlanta at Carolina is the next one, and that's a divisional game. Atlanta's out of the playoffs. I also believe Carolina's out. Who do you think's winning this game?
I think Atlanta might go ahead and sneak this one out. I think Cam Newton's already. He's hit with the shoulder injury. Came out and said it after this week. Now it's kind of over. Rivera, he might be out the door.
Yeah.
I think it's falling. The wheel's falling off. If it ain't, they got a flat tire.
God, man. Cam Newton should be, he's on paper the greatest quarterback you could probably have. Mobile. He can throw it far. He's tall. He's on paper really good, but he didn't show it last week. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I think injuries might be catching up to him at the end of this season, but he just needs a fresh start. And when good's going good, he plays great. But when I don't see him fight through adversity like some people.
I think his ass had 9 fantasy points last night, or the other night. So
I know my team was Cam's crew this year.
Were you?
Let me down.
God, actually, one of my buddies, they were tied. Alvin Kamara against Cam Newton. You think the quarterback would win. Yeah. And the quarterback did not win, and the guy's going in the playoffs. And I'm butthurt because I'm in 5th place. But so moving to the next part, we got the Giants at Indy. Wait, no, that happened last week. Actually, we're gonna get back to you on that one. We'll come back to that. So, what do you got for Jacksonville at Miami? We're gonna do that next game. I'm gonna look that up while we're chilling. So, tell me about Jacksonville and. Do you think they could beat a Miami team?
I definitely think they can beat them. I'm not sure if everybody gave up on the season or what happened, what have you, or whatever. Somebody's got to have some backbone if you're one of the best defenses in NFL. 'Cause, that's what it was last year. I didn't see no one left. They got rid of Barry Church, but obviously something had to be going wrong, or he was hurt, old, whatever you want to say was there. But that's a good defense. They could win a game by themselves. But
so who you picking? Who you got? Jacksonville? You're hyping them up a little bit.
Yeah. I think
Jacksonville.
I'm going to say bounce back on that. I just don't trust Tannehill.
Yep.
He could roll out and tear his ACL this week.
I just don't like Tannehill either. He's just, maybe it's his face. Frank Gore's all right. Kenyon Drake's all right. I'm just going to have to probably go Miami just because you're going Jacksonville. Just kind of keep it interesting. Oh, shit. You need a pause? No. Actually, so yeah, the last week's game, to move back, this is right. I just thought the Giants played Indy for some weird reason. So who do you got? Giants at Indy. I'm going Indy just because they need this game. You know.
Yeah, I think Indy's got that game in the bag for sure.
Yeah, that game's.
I don't see. I don't know. The Giants defense just isn't what we thought it was. I mean, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, you're saying that's a Super Bowl defense. And now the Jackrabbits no longer the Jackrabbit, and
Snacks is in Detroit.
Yeah, everything's falling apart.
This game right here, I'm gonna keep this short because I know it's not. I got the Rams at Arizona. I'm going Rams. I don't know about you.
Rams.
I don't think they really need
Gurley as well.
Yes, sit Gurley because you're gonna need him. So moving into Chicago, this is another game I'm gonna pick kind of quick. Chicago at San Francisco. I think San Francisco could just be that team right now, just to fuck with everyone. But I'm still gonna pick Chicago. Who do you got?
Yeah, I think Chicago's a better team.
Yeah,
I think San Francisco got hyped up to play Seattle. And
divisional Sherman. They want to win it for Sherm.
They got smacked by Seattle the first time, so I thought that was. They just came back a little hyped up.
Win it for the new crowd, new stadium.
Yeah, next week let down against Chicago.
Oh, they're probably going to drop 3 points. Pittsburgh at New Orleans. This is a big game, and I'm going New Orleans because they're home, and I just don't really mess with the Steelers that much, and I just think New Orleans is the better team.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
In the spirit of keep one on the other side, I'll go with Pittsburgh, but I really don't like Pittsburgh at all. So I mean, fuck Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
but I think they might get this one. This one could be a game where they go get it. I mean,
they are playing pretty fucking hard.
And at this point, New Orleans is playing for home field advantage, but at this point, I think going to LA isn't a big deal to them either.
Yeah,
you're gonna get your home game that you need to win, and then if LA is the number 2 seed, you're not worried about going to LA to play
because they've already beat them in New Orleans, right?
Yeah. Plus, I think it's the cold and. Yeah. That's what you don't want to go to. But if you're going to LA, I think that's just fine.
Oh yeah, that's basically you're playing in the dome, so they're like, oh, big deal. But then this is the last game, Sunday night game, Kansas City at Seattle.
Seahawks.
Is this a true test of how the defense is going to put? Because Kansas City's offense is as good as anyone's offense in the top.
Yeah, this is definitely. If we can get this game, we deserve to be in the playoffs. If we don't, then we're going to be hanging on someone else's, what other people do. So we can go out and get it this week. And I think the defense can muster it up. I just don't. Just matters if we can get as many points as they're going to get. We're going to give up something.
Yeah.
It's not going to be.
Tyreek Hill is going to get open.
It's not going to be 13-10. You're going to have to get 20, 30 points. So it depends on if Russell Wilson and the boys can go put some numbers up. I think Kansas City's definitely susceptible to that. So, I mean, it's not doable, but we'll have some help from the crowd.
Yeah.
At home will help us, but I think we'll see, I guess.
I just like Seattle's offense against their defense more. You know what I mean? Like, I think Seattle is going to I know Kansas City's going to put up points. But I just like that edge they have. And I like the rushing, but Kansas City does have a really good D-line, even their defense is kind of like bad. But so I'm guessing you got Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I would love to go against Seattle, but I just don't think. I think it's going to be a good game in Seattle. For Monday night, Denver at Oakland, this is another kind of a barn burner type game. Like, I'm going to go Denver just because I don't really like picking Oakland. Yeah, they do me wrong every week.
I think Oakland's trying to lose, so I'm going to go ahead and say that.
So that one actually about does it for the Week 16 pick. Actually, we have 2 more segments left on the show, and just to talk about a little bit baseball, this is actually the first time we've talked about baseball. I'm not an expert at all, but, me and Breland are both from the Northwest, and we're actually Mariner fans, and we were actually talking before the show, what is wrong? The Mariners are cleaning house. Is there any other teams in the MLB that are doing the same things the Mariners are doing, or that have done and have seen good things happen? If that makes sense,
I definitely seen the Astros had a blueprint. I mean, they tanked and then got a bunch of good draft picks, but they also made the right draft picks. And Seattle did the same thing like a couple years before them. Their picks didn't pan out. Ackley, Zunino, and a few others. Just to name a few, and then that going from there. Now, after we spend all this money on Cano, you're 10 years, 240.
God, that's a lot of money.
And then to send him out with Diaz after Diaz was, the highlight of our season, the best closer. He gets named to the All-Star team, and then we trade him off. I think there's some bright sides. We got a couple young pitchers, Kalenic and Justice Sheffield back, and then we traded Segura away, and then brought in Santana and J.P. Crawford. J.P. Crawford could be the shortstop moving forward, but they want to get a veteran guy to come in so he can start in AAA. So we'll see where that goes. And he hasn't hit like they probably want him to. And then when he was on the Phillies, and then we traded Santana to get Encarnacion so we get a draft pick. And then, Encarnacion's probably not going to play for the Mariners ever. So look forward to that being a trade coming soon. That we're going to try to get him off for another young player. I just think rebuilding the farm system. I mean, I think it's a good idea while you still got the manager intact, so you're not restarting with a new manager and a new
that would be insane
regime. But I guess you had to do some. Just like we were talking about the Bengals. Either you're gonna blow it up or you're gonna just continue to be right in the middle. I think there's something to say for that. You can applaud that, but at the same time, I want to see that in the ticket sales and my beer prices too.
Yeah.
When I go to the game, we're not putting the same amount of money into the on-field players. Then I want to see that reflected back to our fan base too.
Yeah, because you look at Seattle's fan base and they're just legendary in all sports, really. You even go to a Storm game, they're loud.
Yeah.
I'm not really the
champions as well.
WNBA champions. You're right. One of the so what they brought Seattle a championship. Seattle Hawks have. Sonics did. Save our Sonics.
Yep, save our Sonics.
And UW won a Rose Bowl.
Yep.
Has every team won us something?
Yeah, I mean, except for the Mariners, except one.
And the Mariners. The Mariners are the only
116
team.
games we got us once, but nothing in the playoffs.
What were we the number 1 seed that year?
Yeah, that was terrible.
What was that? 2002.
We played the Yankees. We couldn't even hit.
Or was that way back?
We couldn't hit the baseball to say we're alive in that series.
Fuck. That just shows it's almost as worse as when Buffalo went to 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost all 4 of them. Yeah. I couldn't do that. So, to ask a little bit more about baseball, because I'm not too into baseball, who is the Golden State Warriors this year? Like, and to put it, to contrast it.
Yeah.
That's got to go.
I definitely think the Astros are gearing up for a run. I think the Dodgers are always going to be right there.
Yankees.
The Red Sox are obviously just won. I think they're the Golden State of it right now because they have the young nucleus of Bogarts and Benintendi and Mookie Betts and Jackie Bradley Jr. and then David Price came through in the clutch, and they got another big lefty up there on the mound. So I think they're the horse out in front, but I think there's a lot's in flux with Bryce Harper as a free agent.
Yep.
Manny Machado as a free agent. That's 2 game changers. So it's up in the air still. I think once everything shakes out and get to spring training, everybody will. The Cubs as well.
Yep.
Too. You can't forget they just won not recently. And I think
broke history.
Yeah, Chris Bryan, Rizzo, and company can get it back together too.
It's just as a Mariners fan, that's how I view baseball. I look at our division, and it's just our fucking luck. We have the Astros, and we got the Angels, who have Trout and a Tony.
Yeah.
And then who else do we have in there? We have the Athletics.
Yeah.
And who else?
And then we got
another LA team or another Texas team? Or is there only one Texas team?
The Rangers.
Rangers. Yeah. So, yippee, we have fucking all these good teams.
Yeah.
Is that just our luck? Were they ever? Because I know our division was once pretty bad.
Yeah, I thought it was open, and then now this Astros juggernaut comes walking in, and then the Rangers are up, they're down, and then look, the A's come through and make a playoff push. Just push us out of there, and it hurts to see the Mariners have, but it's good to see competition in your division. You don't want to be in a bottom seller division and win, because then it's not a good barometer to know if when you get there you can compete. If you can win a good division, then by the time you get there, especially after how many games are in a baseball season,
To bring it back to football, I think of it like Seattle's case. Seattle is one of the most deserving teams to make the playoffs because they have someone like the Rams, and they've shown they compete can compete against a team like that.
Yeah.
And, to see the Mariners do something like that is pretty cool. Is there anything else that's really bugging you about the baseball? Is there any rules that have just came up? Is there anything that's just irking you? A player who's gone somewhere?
I think recently they were talking about taking away the shift in baseball. I think that's good for baseball. It spices it up.
What is the shift?
Or so when the teams a player gets up to bat, he's left-handed. They shift the guys over so that they're all on one side.
Okay.
Yeah. So that they want to make it so they have to stand in their traditional spots like regular baseball. But I think that gives the the coach, the manager, a chance to be involved in the game without being out there.
Yeah.
He's doing his job.
So you think it should be allowed?
I think it should be allowed. I think that's being creative. What do you want everybody to go to work and then go home, go to sleep? You decide what they're gonna drink when they go home too, because it can't be Sprite. It's got to be 7-Up. Come on, let's have some choice.
That's actually, I'd never even heard about this rule, but then you look at it as a sports fan. I growing up, I knew as our family, we would talk all this sports. It's just, how are you going to try to change a game that's helping them win?
Yeah.
Like you said, the 7-Up Sprite thing. How are you going to say you can't do that to stop that? That's not.
Yeah. And they're only saying it because traditionally teams never did it, and now they're doing it more than ever. And, the teams that are doing it more, they're having more success. So they're upset. Just like in golf where the guys had the real long putter. Yep. Those guys started winning tournaments, so they said, no, that's cheating. Or it's like, oh, why don't you do it then?
Yeah. Wait, what was that? So they had long putters and they just...
so like 5-6 years ago, Adam Scott and a bunch of guys, they had longer putters where it kind of touched their chest.
Yeah.
So they didn't have, it was less, using their arms or it was just, they were more consistent with it, the guys that were doing it.
Yeah.
And then they said that it was cheating, so after they made a new rule where you had to go back to the short putter.
What?
And then those guys that were using the short putter, like Adam Scott, I don't even think he's won more than one event since then. And he won a major with it. So, it's just, they want competitive balance. I see, funny. Or whatever it is. But, I think there has to be something where you're just like basketball's ever changing, just like, now it's a 3-point. It's not always going to be the same. It might not always
be 3-pointers.
People might learn how to hit through the shift, or start changing the game.
Yeah, they're gonna
adapt to that and move forward. So I don't think making them go back to a certain way is. I don't think that's the answer.
That's not cool because traditionally nobody dunked the ball. Traditionally nobody ran the I formation or the pistol formation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, how are you gonna be? That's just not even as a baseball guy. I could just be like, hey man, like. Let them fucking play. Let them adjust, man. Like you said, it brings more people involved into the game because baseball's already been kind of slow anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And, it's football and basketball are able to have these fan bases because it's so much more exciting and there's more explosiveness. But, baseball's a little more like jazz and stuff,
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, I could totally see why they want to keep it traditional because they're one of the only sports that keeps it traditional. Yeah. I know one of their big things is the whole pitcher thing. Can you explain that one more time? It's like the AL and man, I'm the NFC and AFC.
Yeah, okay, so American League,
yeah,
they bring out a designated hitter and the pitcher doesn't hit.
Yeah.
The National League, the pitcher hits. So whichever park if you're playing in a National League park, no matter if you're an American League team or not, if you go to a National League park,
you have to play their rules.
The pitcher hits, and then if you're in an American League park, you bring out a designated hitter.
So, I'm going to have to keep asking you these questions because as a Mariner fan, I think Mariners. Felix, if we go to someone in the AL, because we're in the NL, right?
We're in the AL.
We're in the AL. Yeah. So say we go to the opposite conference.
Yeah.
Is Felix ever hit?
Yeah.
Is he ever hit?
Yeah, I think he has a grand slam.
Does he?
He has one, yeah. But I don't think that's another thing. Like most pitchers, if they like National League, because they like to hit and be involved, and then they'll stay there. And then some pitchers, when they get old, they come over here because then they don't have to do that.
They just pitch.
Yeah, it's just that. I think some pitchers have a preference. I guess I'm not a major league scout or anything.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure that they like one or the other.
Oh yeah, definitely. They'd be like, man, I don't want to have that pressure going to fucking bat. Fuck that. But again, there's probably some guys who want to do that, and I know
Yeah,
That Tony guy does that, doesn't he? And he's good.
Yeah, and it probably makes them feel like they're doing their when they give up a couple runs, if they can get up there and get a hit, they
Make up for it.
Yeah, they feel like they can do something besides pitch the ball to help their team.
Yeah, because like you put in basketball, LeBron misses a shot, you D up that guy real good, and then it's like, oh,
yeah, you
got the ball back.
Yeah.
Football kind of does that too. Defense will go out there and save the day. Yeah. So is there anything else? Just to ask you one more time about the MLB. So we talked about who do you think would be good. It's just what's your take on it this year? What do you think it's going to be just way bigger than it was last year for a playoff push, or do you think it's going to be more like the NBA like was a couple years ago and we knew it was going to be Cleveland and Golden State?
Yeah, I definitely think Boston and Houston they're the hogs moving forward in the AL, and everybody knows that. And then I think the National League's a little bit more up in there. I think the Dodgers are still going to be right there, and I think but it's wide open always. It's baseball,
Yep. 100 how many games?
182 or 169 or something like that. There's a lot of games.
Something's gonna happen for sure.
Yeah, injuries, anything could happen. So, and there's so many guys on the team. It's just a camaraderie thing. Some things, gel right. That's why they say that about basketball. And there's only 10 guys.
Yeah.
Think about football, same thing.
52.
It's like, you got to bring everybody together, and it's got to come together right. And
so does it?
Head coach.
Yeah. So does it? So to ask sidetrack, does every team have an Aqua Sox team then? So like I know the Aqua Sox is the farm team for Seattle. Does everyone have? I'm guessing everyone has that.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah. So like there's a AAA, a AA, and then I think they have separate league like fall and spring leagues for like single A baseball. It's like the lowest one.
So when you go to the spring league, are you watching? Who are you watching? Like Aqua Sox players?
They invite 40 of the best players that they think are going to play or that could compete for a spot on the 25-man roster.
Okay.
So not all the guys that are in their whole organization show up. They have other guys show up, but they have a spring training camp that's going on at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you're technically they're in the building with the other Mariners, but they're doing their own practice because it's the lower guys, they have their own practice, and then the major league invitees or whatever, like the 40 of them, they're all doing their separate work trying to get picked for a 25-man spot.
Okay, so if there was a good player, I'm just going to put it in a scenario. If there was a good player on the Aqua Sox, could we pluck them and be like, you're playing next game? Or how does that go?
Yeah.
You can?
Technically you could, but the guys that we pluck from would be like the Rainiers because they're our AAA team.
Oh, so Aqua Sox are double A.
Aqua Sox are like high A or single A, but fall league. So it's close to Seattle, but that's the closest one to me and you in Tulalip. But our team is the Tacoma Rainiers, and then we have a team like in far away from here too. I can't remember. That's a AA team.
Mm-hmm.
They're like Jackson, I think it's in California. I'm not sure.
Damn, I actually had no idea that the Aqua Sox were the double.
Or the single A.
Single A.
Yeah.
Single A.
And it's only a fall league, so it's like a shortened league too. But it's in there. They use it for like the guys they just drafted, like younger, like right when they initially start, when they got put on the Mariners organization, they put him there. Or like say Felix has been there a couple times.
That was crazy. Didn't
on
you
rehab
go?
Starts. Yeah. He pitched like 3 innings and then everybody walked out. There's only like 20 people left in the whole stadium after he was done.
Dude, can you imagine just being his teammates? They're like, yeah, look at all. They get the taste of the whole crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be insane in the little Everett stadium.
Yeah, little high school baseball field.
Yeah, that's insane. But to wrap up the MLB, we're gonna end it on the NBA. I'm actually gonna kind of ask the same questions we already kind of went through. NBA, it's looking more like the Raptors show right now, and actually the Clippers. What do you think the Clippers are legit, or you think they're gonna? Because there's 82 games in basketball, so what do you think of the Clippers this year, as to compared to someone like the Raptors or the Warriors or even the Celtics don't look too good this year?
I think they're a middle of the pack Western Conference team. I mean, I think that's fair to say. They were a bubble playoff team just off how hard they competed last year. So I think it just goes a lot to show about how Doc Rivers, treats his players and how he gets them to play hard for him.
Yeah, the Clippers are fun, but Doc Rivers is, aging.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't see him as a contender, but I see him,
being there,
yeah.
kind of being in the way, maybe knock off the Grizzlies kind of team.
Yeah, or knock off a team that thinks that they could have a chance, but
So yeah, to move it into that, to talk playoffs. I know it's really early to talk playoffs, but you look at it, and do you think Golden State's going to be number one in the West?
I think after it shakes out, they probably will.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. After winning so much, they might think we're gonna rest our guys a little more and not worry about that situation. I'm not
Play from the 4th seed.
Yeah, you never know. It just kind of depends on how the Nuggets shake out. They're playing well. And, there's a lot to be. It's open, especially after the Lakers start playing how they've been playing.
Yeah, LeBron, he's going to switch. He's going to turn into something else. Playoff time.
The Trailblazers are always right there.
And they're right there to lose the first round.
Westbrook never gets tired.
Westbrook don't get tired. Who else we got? Utah.
He said the Sacramento coach just said fucking he's got Marvin Bagley and De'Aaron Fox, and they're the next
new KD and Westbrook.
Westbrook. Yeah.
He's a clown for that. He's pretty brave for some bold statement like that.
I think the East is probably the most
interesting that it's ever been.
I think it might be a 3-horse race. I think the Bucks are in there.
Yep.
I think Toronto's in there, and I think Boston's in there. I think I don't know. There's the other team, but that's who I like myself. I think that's got the biggest star power and the biggest substance behind it.
Do you think someone like Milwaukee, because I'm going to use Milwaukee as this example, could go into Boston or Toronto if Boston or Toronto shut down Giannis? I know you can't really shut him down, but if they say, all right, we're going to let Giannis get his, we're going to make everyone else beat us. Do you think that's their biggest weakness as a Bucks team, or do you think there's someone else could be like, I'm going to take over and they're going to do good?
I think they could still play with him having a bad night. It just depends on if he forces it and doesn't. If he still does the things without the ball that he does, get all those rebounds and facilitate, I think they could still win.
Yeah.
And the way he defends, I think he could change the game. Enough where they can still win. But I think it's better if they don't face one of those two teams out of the gate.
Yeah.
And then you go get a playoff.
Some confidence.
A playoff victory instead of, you go get 3-2 in a 5-game series and get a little battle tested,
Yep.
I think they have a chance, but I wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't put my money on Milwaukee going into Boston or into Toronto.
Yep, quite yet.
In the first series, I think they'd want to get a little bit of scars first.
Yeah, I hope Milwaukee doesn't turn out to be the 8th seed, because that means there would be other teams above them, and that would be like just showing how weak the East would be.
Yeah.
The West, I look at it, I think LeBron's going to be a different player. It's just kind of going to come on down to the seedings. But, again, the seedings aren't really too big of a deal, except if, because every team is going to get 3 home games.
Yeah.
And it's just going to matter if it goes to Game 7. And that really only matters for the last probably 4 teams that are in.
Exactly.
But, an 8 seed is going to get its home team. It's going to get its home games. So it's just – but, again, an 8 seed cannot compete with fucking Golden State.
Yeah, they could probably go, snag a couple games or – it's not that 8 seeds can't win. It's just you're going to run out of gas probably at some point. You're not a championship contender. You could steal a series and, I doubt somebody could do it to Golden State myself. But, I think it is basketball. One person can change the game more than any other sport. If LeBron gets the 8 seed, he could go win a series all by himself.
Oh, yeah. He'll be like, I'm going to fucking win it.
Yeah.
And, that's the one thing about the NBA, and I'm so shocked about it. Is there anything else that in the NBA that really strikes out to you before we actually end this episode? Is there anything that really sticks out to you, like one more thing?
Congrats to ISO Zoe. He got undrafted, 2 years, $7 million. That's, not even halfway through the season here. And the year before that, he could have left Arizona, could have been a lottery pick.
Yep.
And then he decided not to, and then goes to Arizona. DeAndre Ayton takes all the shine, and then now look at him. Here he is now putting up buckets for the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. He's like, check me out.
Big player,
He's getting buckets. He's from he's actually from Seattle area.
Yep.
That's doing it for the Six.
Man, that's super cool. The NBA is one of those things that it's almost one of those sports is like I feel more connected to as a fan, just because when you watch an NBA game, it's like you're seeing, it's like you're more into them rather than the NFL, because it's like there's 12 guys on the field, helmets on.
Yeah, you don't see them.
Yeah, like when I say, oh, that guy's from Seattle in football, you're like, oh, whatever. But when you say like, oh, he's from Seattle in basketball, it's like, oh, damn, there's way more.
Unless he's the quarterback.
Yeah. Like Skinny Eason from UW, you're like, oh, he went to Lake Stevens, that's super cool.
Yeah.
But then everyone else, you're like, oh, whatever, But basketball, it's so much cooler. That's what I'm a huge fan of the NBA. I think the last thing I want to talk about is LeBron and Lonzo had that triple-double. Both had a triple-double. I mean, I didn't think too much about it, but that was crazy, as an NBA fan. They fucked around and got a triple-double. Fucking...
Yeah, 2 guys just go do it.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, they were probably they probably planned it.
And I've been enjoying Westbrook out there getting in a fight every other game, if not every game. That's enjoyable to watch. I like some competitive fight. Boy.
And then that's enjoyable. Steven Adams, Aquaman, just trying to stop everything. He
grabs the guy's
he grabbed his hand. He's trying to release. Yeah. So.
And then with the Bulls, I think that controversy is kind of laying down a little bit. I mean, I think Jabari Parker deserves a home somewhere to be out on the court. I think, that's. Jamal Murray, is he a superstar? That's another thing that
I think
about.
He's a star.
Yeah.
He's a star.
Yeah.
Complimentary so far, at least.
Sure. Hassan Whiteside, I think there's something to be said. Where did he go? He's
got the tangibles to be like as good as Dwight Howard was, but Dwight Howard was an animal when he first came to Orlando.
Michael Jordan smacking his players.
That's hella funny. Maybe he's given him magic. That's what I think. He's like
Mike. Calvin Cambridge.
I think the funny part about that, the hitting upside the head, is his face more than his. He's like actually disgusted.
He was visibly upset.
Some coaches are like, come on, and he was like, he had the just emotion of just, man.
So are you committed to saying Kawhi's gone still, or do you think he could stay?
Am I? Oh wow. Do I think he's going to stay with Toronto?
Yeah. Or do you think that because you were just hyping the Clippers, if with the pieces that the Clippers have now, if you could just pick up Kawhi Leonard and move forward there, do you think that's a contender?
I think the Clippers I think they're trying to make it look attractive for Kawhi.
Yeah.
I guess their executives have said they've seen Clipper guys at the games when, they're going to be there.
Yeah.
That was kind of a dumb thing.
Especially after he played hurt or played that he was hurt all year. Everybody wanted to see he's healthy.
Everyone's there.
And it's been a nice start for him to see him play a different offense where they're not force feeding him the ball right where they want him to catch it and score. Like he kind of being more of a creator of the offense which is nice to see.
He's got like a legit point guard. Tony Parker, I'm not saying he's not a legit point guard, but I'm just saying it's more of it's a less all team based ball. Kyle Lowry is going to hold the ball majority of the time, if not Kawhi. They have a deep bench in Toronto. Everyone says, oh, the weather is all a big deal. He doesn't like the snow, and I just don't think that's too big of a deal. But I think if the Clippers are going to show promising that they're good, maybe.
Then he's going to for sure be there.
I think he could be there. And maybe say Kyle Lowry says some stupid shit midseason. Oh, I missed DeMar.
Yeah.
Kawhi is one of those guys who will be like, fuck, man, I'm out then.
Yeah.
I think very well Kawhi could be a Clipper next year, and he could actually very well be a Raptor. But
as much as people hate the whole saga of Kawhi Leonard, I enjoy him being
it's fun
and not saying anything. And he doesn't, it just makes him want more.
Yep.
Kept him in conversation all off season.
He already has 2 championships. Yeah. So obviously if he doesn't win one, he's not going to be too butthurt. Carmelo is one of those guys who never got one. Yeah. So he was hunting to find a place that would get him one.
He's doing the Barkley, and Kawhi Leonard's already got his.
Yeah, so he's like, I mean, hey man, I just wanted my shoe deal, and now he's with New Balance.
Yeah.
So he got his way, and he's the most average, non-emotional guy.
Yeah.
So that was the perfect shoe deal for him. Maybe he gets New Balance. I'm actually thinking about getting some New Balances now.
I was thinking about the Pumas till I seen the New Balance thing.
Yeah, DeAndre Ayton's now with Puma.
Yeah.
They got all the big. Who's another big guy?
Bagley. And who's the main? They have a main person too.
I don't know who they was. Did Dwight Howard? It's a big guy. I know it's a big guy.
Yeah. I would have to look that
I have
up.
no idea. So yeah, you look that up, and I'll actually like try to just talk this out. But you know, the NBA is one of those teams or one of those things with Kawhi that just wasn't. It sucks that they just really shunned this guy for being not emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's the whole mental health thing. It's coming out a little bit more and more and more.
Yeah.
But I do think, to go back to that question, I do think he will be a Clipper if the Clippers maintain this good play to show that it's an attractive place for him to go.
Yeah.
Because if, you know, the Clippers are going to be bad, they're going to always be the Lakers' shadow.
Marvin Bagley, DeAndre Ayton, Michael Porter Jr., and Zaire Smith are the Puma basketball.
Puma basketball. I wonder how their shoes hold up. I really, because you know Nike obviously holds
Jay-Z's
up.
putting on for him.
Wait, is Jay-Z Puma?
Yeah, yeah. And,
I didn't know that.
And they signed Nipsey Hussle as well. Shout out to Nipsey.
Oh, they also got, is it Phil Mickelson on the golf team? Ricky Fowler on Puma.
Oh, he's native, but put that on I-10 Native Sports.
And 7. Get that guy a sponsorship.
Shout out to Kuko on the ITA Native Sports.
But yeah, that actually about the NBA, that about does it for this week. Is there anything that where should people find you, Breland? You know,
you can go ahead and find me at the Res tournaments here, near and far, and we're out here in Tulalip. We kicking it with Cooper Tires, Eli Parker.
Shout out.
We out of here. Thank you guys so much for listening. It means a lot when you guys can tune in and listen to this whole episode.